All right, let's get over there. Still, you got my phone, right? Yes. There you go. Here, get me real quick. Hey guys, welcome in. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Drew from 21 The Podcast, reporting for Band.Video. Now today we are at the Reoccupy Wall Street event here in Zuccotti Park in New York City. They've just started speaking. I'm gonna be coming in intermittently. We'll see a few speakers, talk to a few people, and yeah, we'll go from there.
I'll get behind you, brother. Can be just as free as America once was.
We're going to start doing a press release, but thank you. I can't believe you kept that up that long. All right, hold on.
So he has a Robin Hood hat on here.
I need a Robin Hood representative. Not you. I know you're not. I need the other one. I need a real one.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3, there. All right, guys, the crowd's starting to form, so I just wanted to say thank you all for coming out. We're going to be here for a while, so we'll have some speeches and everything, but it's great that we have this kind of crowd showing up on this brick Sunday morning, and we're here in Zuccotti Park. As you all know, the significance of it all. This is supposed to be a nonpartisan event. This is supposed to be an event that everyone can get behind. There's some blatant corruption going on in the buildings around us and in Greenwich or wherever the hell they are. And it's despicable what's going on. It's absolutely despicable. There's two standards. There's rules for thee, not for me. You got these big hedge fund guys who are trying to short companies into the ground, and then they got called on their bluff by a bunch of anonymous day traders on Reddit, and then they have the balls to call those guys unsophisticated when they bankrupted them. So God bless those guys. God bless the little guy for making an honest buck and showing them how the market really works.
Yeah. Woo! That's right. Absolutely.
But these guys are now going to cry and have their crocodile tears on CNBC and tell us, oh, you know, you're manipulating the market. These guys have been manipulating the market for their advantage for years. And the second a few plebs online, the rabble, the peasants, whatever they want to call us, that they start to play at their own game and beat them, then all of a sudden they're crying foul and we have to shut everything down. They shut down trading to cover their own... I don't want to curse, you know, I'm trying to be a nice guy today, but you know what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep doing this. And who cares about them? What about the small businesses? What about everyone who's lost their jobs, their money, everything? No one can work. No one can make an honest living. But then these guys, we have to feel bad for them because they got played. These guys make how much money? How many houses do they have? How many people on their teams do they have? They couldn't put one analyst to see what Reddit was doing? Give me a break. It's incompetence. It's utter incompetence. And the little guy showed them, and they're trying to screw the little guy. So that's why we're here. This is blatant corruption. This is a double standard. They don't want a free market. They want a rigged market. They want a closed game where only they can make money, and the rest of us have to just, you know, play by their rules. It's ridiculous. So it doesn't matter what party you are, what affiliation, whatever. We should all be out here and show support, and hopefully we can keep up the pressure on them. We can't let them just pretend that this never happened. We can't just let them memory hold this whole thing. So let's make sure we let our voices be heard, hold the line, and I want to pass off the mic to my VP, Vishbura.
That's right. Yeah!
Thank you all. Can you guys hear me? Thank you guys for coming. We need to take a stand today, tomorrow, and every day that comes forward because these people are corrupt. They are here corporatizing the American dream and making a mockery of American freedom, of freedom all over the world. It doesn't matter if it's Wall Street, if it's big tech, if it's big agriculture, big education. The guys in DC, these people are all in this rigged game that they want to just allow the decline of America. And they want to manage it because they know the dirty secret. They can make money whether America goes up or down. And we need to take a stand against that. We need to take a stand against the managed decline that our elites are putting us through, putting our freedom through, putting our prosperity through. We need to take a stand against the corrupt. And we are here, open arms. This is not a left or right issue. This is an us versus them issue. Democrats, Republicans, independents, socialists, I don't care. We need to take a stand against our oppressors, and I'm so happy to see all of you here taking a stand against what is wrong, standing up for what is right. In the cold, in the freezing, it doesn't matter. We are here to make sure that we stand for freedom, because these people certainly don't, and we can no longer rely on our elites to look after our freedom.
Hell no!
So we need to do it ourselves.
Hell yeah!
So thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for showing what America is about. Open arms. Everyday Americans showing up to stand for what's right, for what's free. Thank you all. Thank you. Tell them how much bullshit this is. Let them know. Let's hear it. How much bullshit are our elites putting through?
All that bullshit.
They're putting us through too much. They owe us now. We are going to make sure they pay, because they owe us now. Our elites owe us now. They owe us our freedoms. They have to pay. We are here to make sure that they pay. So let's make sure our voices are heard. Thank you.
Give it a round to my boy Vishpora. All right, so we all know this is nonsense, it's rigged, and I'm glad we have the people coming out to show our support. I have another few people that want to speak. They're running for office, they're elected, they're on our side, they understand what's going on, they understand the corruption, they understand the double standards, they understand that they want to stand up for the little guy, the working schmo, and none of these big hedge funds, these big banks, and all this other nonsense, all right? We're going to be, we're for the people, and I want to bring up right now someone who's running for city council, John Sakalos. John, come up here.
Thank you, everybody. We're freezing our asses off together for a reason. Today, this week, we saw the largest transfer of wealth in a one-week period, probably since 1929. And more importantly, what we saw was the fulfillment of the American obligation to exceptionalism. We, the people, will beat you at any game, even if it's your own game. They had to change the rules, and that is why we're here today. We have done nothing that the big hedge funds haven't done to us for the past 70 years. And this is not what I want to talk about. There are people here who probably have degrees in finance. They'll be smarter than I am to talk about this stuff. What I want to talk of our national wealth than any hedge fund manager or corporate Wall Street slob in the history of New York. We, the people, are Santa Clauses. They are a bunch of Grinches.
Yes.
Amen. I want to thank Gavin. I want to thank the Young Republicans. I want to thank the other organizations that have shown up nonpartisan. Like Fish said, this is a Republican, Democrat, independent, American issue. I also want to thank all of you here for freezing today.
Where's the
And what I really want to thank is those brave people who are holding the lines. They could have been millionaires at any time. Instead, they proved that here in America and here in New York and even here on Wall Street, some things are just a little more important than
people
money.
gotta fight for themselves. Screw these guys.
I want to take
You can only rely on us.
The next mayor of New York and the guardian angels here to keep us safe. Curtis Leroy, if you want to come up and say a few words.
He's actually here.
There he is.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I love right there. Excuse me, folks. Let's put himself on the streets here, the rise to save American lives. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right down the fucking block.
I don't think I need the amplifier, right?
Yeah,
You can all
right.
hear me.
Yeah. Hear you.
First of all, I want to thank you for bringing all these diverse people together at a time where our nation is at odds. But we can agree on one thing. The playing field needs to be level for everybody. And this past week proves, as of all people to say this in defense of that Hazarai, that pig, Steve Cohen, Lenny Dykstra, who doesn't have two nickels to rub together, who was last seen dumpster diving for his dentures, said, the man who has all the gold makes all the rules. We believe that in America. The man with all the gold makes all the rules.
No, hell no, bullshit.
We talk about hedge fund monsters. Bernie Madoff, biggest financial crime in the history of America. $14 billion with the world's largest hedge fund. How could you have been any more criminal than that? And yet you saw people who sought to profit, who begged Bernie Madoff to invest their money in hedge funds that obviously just ended up wining, dining, and pocket lining Bernie and his cronies, like the Will Ponzis, who own the New York Mets. There's some synergy here. Just bear with me a second. 2008, behind us. Wall Street imploded from greed. Almost took the entire world's economy down. You remember that? Lehman Brothers. All the big banking. Bond issue companies. And what did they get from us, the taxpayers? A massive bailout. Bank of America, $25 billion. Chase, $25 million. Citigroup, $25 billion. Wells Fargo, $25 billion. And they said quantitative easing. And what did the average man and woman get? Bupkis. Gods. We had to pay for that. They got 0% free money from us, the taxpayers. So there's been a history of this. But this also has to do with free speech. For an open forum and discussion of ideas. Now, I don't know how many of you have been in Facebook jail, Twitter jail, YouTube jail.
Bunch of times.
All right, the only place they haven't got me yet is my MySpace. Because I'm 66 and you probably weren't even all born when MySpace came about. But they want to repress free speech. There was, years ago, I think it was 2010, Yahoo message board, in which all the big whales, all the big traders, they had their own private channel. Then Yahoo decided, let's open it up to the small investors. Let's give them tips. Let's get them ahead of the curve. And then what happened? The FBI decided to bust it down because the whales got all upset that average everyday traders or investors were getting some of the same kind of information as them. Insider trading information, right? You should go to jail when you have inside trader information.
Right.
One of the main individuals who shut down the trading, as average Americans were making money because they were beating them at their own game, was a guy who should have been in jail, Stephen Cohen, now owner and operator of the Mets, who is guilty of insider trader information. Can we agree on that? Bernie Madoff, insider trader information. Wall Street thrives on insider trader information. Do the day traders get that? Do the average men and women get that? But when all of a sudden they decide to pool their resources and come together and compete with the big entities, then all of a sudden everything gets shut down. I'm going to leave you on this final note. They screwed the little people once. Subprime mortgages, remember? Subprime mortgages, they said, would lead to the American dream. And men and women out there lined up to get their subprime mortgages, knowing that the big would come, and like organized crime, they would lose everything. The Democrats knew that. The Republicans knew that. Wall Street knew that.
Goddamn right.
And then subprime mortgage imploded. And they floated them out as junk bonds, remember? They bundled it up. Malaysia was buying it. Saudi Arabia. They knew how to keep this scam afloat. Subprime mortgages almost took America down because it robbed average men and women of a dream to have a home of their own, which is one of the principles of raising one's equity, one's standard, and being independent and autonomous. Well, thank you for coming together.
Thank you,
Left,
sir. Thank you.
right, everyone in between. Let's get these hedge fund monsters before they get us. Thank you.
I could be a monster too. I could be a monster too. Absolutely. I mean, they're turning me into a monster.
And also, if you're an insider on these funds, the hedge funds, reach out to Project Veritas, reach out to James O'Keefe. They've got a lot to say. They have a lot they want to publicize. So get your information out there. Get your inside information into the hands of real journalists. And you can message them on Signal 914-653-3110. Be brave.
So, do you mind introducing yourself? Oh, yeah. No. Okay, yeah.
Sure. Let me take a picture.
Yeah, go for it. So this is one of the leaders of the Guardian Angels. We even got NYPD out here taking pictures with them. So I don't know too much about the Guardian Angels yet. I guess we're about to learn this now. Curtis is a very popular man.
You're gonna run against the blood deal.
Going to. Okay.
Howdy.
Do me a favor.
I'm the guy who made the impromptu speech.
CCCP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I had to do it.
Of course.
I had to.
All right.
Speech.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Curtis, could you go ahead and introduce yourself to the camera for me, please?
Curtis Lewa, founder and president of the Guardian Angels and mayoral candidate in 2021 here in New York City.
Awesome. So, I don't know too much about the Guardian Angels. Could you tell me just a little bit about who they are?
Well, we're out in the streets. Started 42 years ago in the Bronx when I was a night manager of Mickey D's. There were no cops on the subways late at night. Crime was rampant. The city was in fiscal disrepair, on the brink of bankruptcy. And then I created this organization in which we would patrol the subways. We would patrol the streets. Was not well received. We were thought of as vigilantes, Hell's Angels, Charlie's Angels. And in the first 13 years, I got locked up 76 times. So
Oh, wow.
that was a baptism in fire.
76 times, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. So how has it been lately with the Guardian Angels? Are y'all still doing what it began as?
Oh, yeah. We're all over the world. 13 countries, 130 cities. This is all about self-help. You get men and women and young adults in their communities, and you say, you got a problem? Fine. Don't be looking for outside help. We'll come in and assist you, form a Guardian Angel patrol, but you've got to patrol your own neighborhoods. You've got to show the initiative. You can't be so dependent on government and the police, because then when they leave you high and dry, all you get to do is moan and groan.
Right. So one of my producers from back at the office asked me to ask you about how it was in the summer when there was looting and everything going on. How did that play out for you guys?
Oh, played out. I got a broken jaw. A number of other Guardian Angels seriously injured, both in Midtown and Chelsea. The cops were told to stand back. We always charge forward. We don't surrender. We don't retreat. We didn't give up any property. We didn't give up any product because we know the history says give up the property, give up the product because you think they have insurance. Who cares? Then they come for the people. So when they attacked, we fought back. And thankfully, we were able to survive the ordeal. But unfortunately, too many of those in charge in government just allow that kind of anarchy to exist.
Right. And now I would assume a lot of people would believe that because of the side y'all took on that particular instance, this may be a political movement. Do you see it that way?
No, not a political movement. For example, we were never strong believers in stop and frisk. That was a misguided campaign in which police were being given quotas in order to stop young men, mostly of color, throw them up against the wall, search them. You search the guys coming into Wall Street, right?
Yeah.
You'd be making arrests too.
Exactly.
So again, it ended up 700,000 young men, mostly some young women, a year. It's almost every young man who was a person of color in New York, and thankfully it was ruled unconstitutional. Now, should you ever use stop and frisk? Of course, if you have probable cause. But there was no probable cause for a lot of those. It was simply to make a quota. You can't blame the cops because the rules came from Bloomberg. Oh, by the way, one of the biggest billionaires in the world.
Right. So 2 more questions. One, what are you guys doing out here for the Reoccupy Wall Street event?
Well, because hedge fund monsters, they've caused so much turmoil. Whether you go back to 2008, the collapse of Lehman Brothers, the bailout, in order to supposedly help those who are too big to fail. And now we're seeing it all over again. Too big to fail. So now it happens with Robinhood. It happens with small investors versus the hedge fund monsters. And so history repeats itself. So we're standing with the little men, the little women, because the hedge funds are robbing the average men and women.
And this is history that wasn't too long ago, too, that's repeating itself, which is unfortunate.
No, you got 2008, and you got the biggest hedge fund monster that ever existed, Bernie Madoff. I mean, that should say something right there.
And my last question, so you say you're running against Bill de Blasio in 2021. So what is your campaign standing for in this race?
Well, luckily, Bill de Blasio is term limited out. That part-time mayor, that dope from Park Slope, is out of here. So there'll be a lot of Democrats. They'll be squaring off against one another. For me, it all starts with public safety. If you don't have a safe city, people are not going to get back in the subways. They're not going to be able to go out eventually when the vaccine kicks in and enjoy everything that's so great about New York that made it a 24/7, 365 city. You can address everything else after that. But if you don't have public safety, you won't have a return of the city we all love.
Right. Well, Curtis, man, I really appreciate you for this interview. And y'all be safe out here this weekend, all right?
Yeah, I'll give you my
And stay
card.
warm. Oh, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to get back to the event. I'm not even sure what's going on now. Now we got a bit of a circle over here. Let's try to get inside the circle and see what we got going on.
Let's get. I forgot Robinhood. Yeah. Robinhood. Democratize the markets. Give me a break. That was bullshit. Democratize the markets. They got everyone on their app. They got everyone on their stupid app. That's why I have the hat. I completely forgot this thing I was wearing it. But anyway, why'd they get people on their app? They gave you out free stocks. They said, oh, you guys can play with the big boys. You guys can make real money. Join Robinhood. Give us your money. Come buy stocks. Come do your thing. You know, it's a democracy. It's a democratic process. Nonsense. The second people started making real money, and let's talk, they made millions. These people made millions. They went out, they bought homes, they paid their student loans, they helped pay their medical bills. Curtis said it best, they were great stewards of their money. They didn't go, buying yachts and going off to, San Tropez.
Here, take the mic with you, too.
They did good things with the money they earned. And then what did Robinhood do? Vlad, whatever the hell his name is, they shut it down. They shut down the trading, but they didn't just shut it down. Shutting down would have frozen. What did they do? They said you can't buy, you can only sell. Well, what's going to happen to the price? It's going to crater. It's going to crater. And then what was Citadel doing during this whole time? They were closing their positions. They were bailing themselves out. This was rigged. It was collusive. It was a giant scheme. And I hope they do full investigations because you have guys going to jail for memes. They're putting people in jail for making memes. But these guys steal billions from us. They steal billions from the people. They have the audacity, they have the chutzpah to come back to us and ask for money to bail themselves out. Give me a break. They all need to be investigated. They need to look into the books. They need to look into the phone records, the text messages, because there was a lot of things going on there and it wasn't kosher. I can tell you that much. But yeah, so screw Robinhood. They stole from the people and they gave to the rich, as the great Dave Portnoy has said. It would be hilarious if it wasn't so crooked. It would be hilarious if it wasn't so crooked. But that's what we're dealing with today in America. Double standards. We're all on the losing end of that standard.
How long are we going to be here doing this?
I don't know. I'm freezing.
No, I'm talking about are we going to keep pushing until we get justice?
Look.
Hell yeah.
Look, call your representative. Look. The Attorney General of New York, Tish James, she's a Democrat. She's a liberal Democrat. I don't agree with her a lot, but I got to give her credit right here, right now. She went against her own party and she exposed what Cuomo did, okay? She went out there and she did what an Attorney General is supposed to do, and she exposed the corruption in the nursing homes with the 12,000 deaths. Robinhood is based here in New York. She has jurisdiction. The Attorney General of New York should investigate these crooks. She should seize their records. She should seize their text messages, their phone calls, whatever it is. Do a thorough investigation. Upend their offices wherever the hell they are.
Those offices are in New York. You're like on 59th Street.
Beautiful, 59th Street. All right, so Tish James has to go to 59th Street. Hold on. It's a long walk, guys. That's a schlep. It's cold and that's a schlep. But anyway, she has to go into those offices and see what the hell happened. She will become a national hero, and I guarantee you, if she did that, she will get praise from Republicans and Democrats alike, because we're looking, where's the aspiring attorney general? Where are these prosecutors? You're looking at a red meat issue right here. This is an issue everyone wants to get behind. I have Antifa guys here just being like, whispering like, yeah, I'm cool with this. This is good. This is good. If you could get both sides of this divided country behind an issue, what the hell are you doing? This is red meat. This is just waiting for you to run with it. So I hope the Attorney General gets involved. I hope they expose this corruption, because it's utter nonsense what's going on. Utter nonsense.
And what are we going to do if these
You're a better reporter than them.
If these leaders don't do what they're supposed to do, what are we going to do?
You cannot be silent, and don't become a doomer, all right? There's change. Yes, change always happens. There's been worse times in history, so don't get all doomy. Don't give up. Don't be pathetic. Don't complain. Don't kvetch. Just go out, do things like this. This is a Sunday morning. I'm sure you guys could be having mimosas or something somewhere. Maybe some of you, but just continue to put the pressure on. Hold the line. There's tons of we have so much in front of us with social media, with the apps you can still buy stocks on. There's plenty we could do. We cost them $70 billion in a matter of weeks. So there's plenty that could be done. So don't give up the fight. All right, guys, you want to say anything? No? All right. Thank you all for coming. We'll be here schmoozing, doing our thing. Oh, all right. Curtis Lee wants to say something.
One last thing. Just as a memory must. And you've done a great job. Really.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
What did they say in 2008? Remember about the whales on Wall Street? They're too big to fail. Remember that? They were too big to fail. So we, the average people, had to bail them out. Now that the hedge fund monsters have been caught in this situation where they don't want a level playing field, they shut down all trading. They shut down all social networks. They say that the people who invested their money, it's all stimulus money, while they were sitting at home eating their Lay's potato chips and Oreos,
Cooperman.
Right, growing barnacles on their backside. Well, guess what? They're being protected because it's thought they're too big to fail. Guess what? They need to fail. There needs to be fiscal pain compliance, because that is the only language that they understand. You lose your money like we lost our tax dollars in 2008, like investors, because you're short the stock, like Goldman Sachs sells you a portfolio, then comes back, shorts the stock, and runs away with all the moolah shmoolah. A double oofa to all of you. Thank you.
Of course. Give him a round of applause. He's running for mayor. But yeah, it's nonsense. We have Fishborough wants to say a few words.
I just want to say a few words. The elites in this country have ruined our freedoms, and we need to stand. We need to stand together as Americans. Not a left or right issue, it's an us versus them issue. We will stand against managed decline. They know that they can make money whether America goes up or down, and so now they want America to go down and cash out of everything that this place is worth, and we are not going to let them do it anymore. We are taking a stand now, and we will keep fighting until our freedoms are realized, and we are given what we were promised, and that's the American dream.
Amen. Amen. And I would love to see them bail out the small pizzerias, the restaurants, the bars. No one cares about them. These guys are committing suicide. They've lost everything. They've lost their homes. They've lost the ability to support their families. All right, you're the hedge fund guy. You lost some money. All right, sell your second home on the South Fork. Sell your Hamptons place. Stop going on your vacations. You guys have enough to fall back on. What about the little guy? We've seen the biggest rise in poverty and unemployment and business closures in a century. And we're supposed to shed tears for these guys because they lost a bet? Give me a break. They lost their bet. They're idiots. They should have done better. That's what they tell us. When the little guy gets screwed, oh, too bad, try harder, pull it up by the bootstraps in their rigged game, in their rigged system. They have all these financial instruments, these financial securities that allow them to make money the way no one else can make money. In such a rapid pace that no one else can compete. Robinhood was supposed to be the good thing. Robinhood was supposed to allow the regular people to play the same game these big boys are playing. But instead, we were all taken for schmucks, and they screwed us. They prevented us from making an honest buck, and now they're laughing at us. But they're not going to be laughing forever, because what the Wallstreetbets guys showed is that you could really have collective action to take a sledgehammer to these guys, and I hope it continues. So again, thank you. I think we're done with our lineup of speakers, but we're going to be hanging out. We'll talk. It's an anonymous bunch of moderators. I mean, they have the little emoji. I think we have someone here who's supposed to be dressed up as them, but I don't know where he is. You'll find him. He has like a blonde, he has a blonde wig on. But look, you have you have people named like Kitty Cat Killer taking on Leon Cooperman. You have these guys with these ridiculous screen names making these guys look like fools. And it's hilarious. I mean, there's honestly, this is like comedy genius. They took GameStop. Who would have thought? If I told you 5 years ago GameStop would have brought down Wall Street, you all would have laughed at me. We are living in the best timeline, people. It's only going to get better, hopefully. So thank you all for coming out. Any questions, though, before we end? All right, cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, dude.
If our leaders don't do their jobs, we'll do their jobs. I would drag these people out of their offices, bouncing their head off the street until they figure it out.
Hell yeah, let's get them.
This is what I look like.
Over here.
Hell
We'll
yeah.
do interviews right here. Just line up and we'll answer whatever. Yes.
Fucking boy right there. Hell yeah, we're coming with you, man.
All right, talk to you. Right here? All right.
Need to find a place to put this. Let's go over here. So the line of speakers has pretty much stopped. We're going to go around. You don't have to show me yet. We're going to go around and talk to some of the attenders of this event. See what brought people out here today. I actually want to talk to the guy over here that's making signs. And by the way, I'm not littering. They literally throw trash on the streets here, so it's New York for you. Excuse me.
No, I'm not. This isn't me.
So this guy's been out here actually painting signs the entire time. Hey man, do you mind if I ask you a couple questions? So what brings you out here today?
I just feel like gotta occupy, gotta let them know that we're here, and everybody sees it happening. Like, it's not hidden anymore. Everybody sees it because of social media, and there's just so much information that's available not through mainstream news anymore. Like the news, the big news networks don't even cover these things anymore. But through the internet and through social media, through YouTube, people see what's happening, and they know that it's a scam. They know that it's rigged. They know that Wall Street got caught, and they know that they changed the rules.
Do you think that the Wallstreetbets situation gives the people hope?
Yeah, I think it inspires a lot of people. I think it brings a lot of people from the left and the right together because we all uniformly recognize they cheat and they got caught, and we all know it.
Now, it seems like a far stretch to say that things are going to get fixed quickly or efficiently, but what do you think you'd like to see happen with legislation for this, and what do you hope to see change?
Honestly, I think there's lots of laws that could be written to change the system, but it's not one quick fix. It's more of a mentality. There could be a tax on per trades because retail investors make a small number of trades relative to the large volume of trades that the hedge funds and the large banks make. Often through automation, often through algorithms. They're manipulating the markets by doing so through technology. A small tax could really prevent them from their lucrative efforts in saturating the market with a large number of trades. So that could absolutely happen. I think immediately someone ought to look into why Robinhood shut down retail investors. That's market manipulation. That's absolutely criminal. And I think the SEC does do regulation. I just think that there has to be real penalties. I think often people get caught, they get slaps on the wrist. Steve Cohen, who this sign represents, was caught for inside trading. He was banned, but he is back at it, and he immediately re-entered the market with billions of dollars for his friends. Our markets do not benefit our economy. It's quite clear that they don't. For the small amount of efficiency they provide, we provide 10 times, we end up paying 10 times in the money they save to the fees that Wall Street charges. It's inefficient to keep using them the way we are, and it's hurting our economy, it's hurting the little people. In the last year of the pandemic, billionaires have increased their wealth by, I think, $100 and $200 billion.
Billions.
Billions. Why small businesses have been crushed. That is not capitalism. That is corruption.
Now, that's actually one thing I'm pretty interested in here in New York, because this is my second time to New York, and I'm noticing that like there could be 30 stores on one block, you know, just small little stores. How have you seen, or what have you seen as far as the pandemic, and have there been like tons of closures, like everything shutting down, or how is New York handling that?
It's interesting because New York is not fully reopened, and I think we can't tell how much damage has actually been done, because many businesses are still closed because of local ordinances, no indoor dining, the entire theater and the tourism industry, which really benefits a lot of small businesses, a lot of middle and low income earners, are all still closed. And I think we're not going to see the effects until perhaps summer or fall, and to find out how many businesses will actually reopen and how many will not be there at all. We don't know the long-term effects yet, and I think it's been covered because we're still in a pandemic. How many of these policies were really necessary? How many of this is driven by political bias and political motivations? And I feel like in the aftermath, there's going to be a lot of small income earners that after the unemployment benefits wear out, after the stimulus checks don't come anymore, for years, their businesses are going to be gone. And the jobs that they worked at as a waitress or a chef are going to be gone. And we don't know the full effects yet.
Now, before I let you go, is there anything that you would want the people to know about the Reoccupy movement?
We're still here.
Holding the line.
Hold the line.
Thank you so much, man. Stay safe out here, brother. Take care. So there's going to be a lot of interesting points that we're going to talk to people about, because there is so much going on in New York, not only with the Wall Street situation, but it's also COVID. I mean, this place has been ravished, which is kind of, it's first off unfortunate, and secondly, I think a lot of the precautions and stuff that this guy was talking about, like, they're way off base. They're still doing outdoor dining, which of course we went to a little restaurant last night, and their outdoor dining is essentially a makeshift indoor dining situation, to where, you know, you are kind of in a little bubble, but the way that this place was open, like, you're still sitting within 6 feet of another table, and there's multiple people inside of this little building. At one point, there was 10 people in there, which I think, I know in Austin for a while, groups of 10 were like the limit, and stuff like that. And I saw my cousin out here, and she was telling me just how so many restaurants have shut down because of this issue. She also did mention that on the 14th, on Valentine's Day, they are supposed to be opening restaurants for indoor dining up to 25%, which hopefully helps some of these businesses out and, brings more money to the city. So let's move around, and we'll see if we can talk to a few more people. We'll talk to her.
You Google my name on Bitcoin, you'll figure out.
Excuse me, ma'am. You mind if I ask you a couple questions? So yeah, for sure.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No, perfect. So I saw your 1984 sign.
Sure.
What's the meaning of this?
Well, George Orwell, in times of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And he was just telling the truth, speaking truth to power of what's going on right now. He was just echoing Nostradamus. This is the silent war he was talking about. This has been planned for 1,000 years. It's a good versus evil thing.
Right. Now, a lot of people also relate these times to like revelations and end times and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, you can always relate it to what it is, but in that regard. But I'm going to step aside from any kind of religious thing, because it's truly about choosing right or wrong. It has nothing to do with what you pray to. I'm agnostic, so I believe that there's a spirit being out there. I'm not going to say who or what it is, because I can say that it's our own pineal gland and we are our own gods. I mean,
Yeah.
But Shakespeare was right in saying that we are the world's a stage and we are merely players, because that's what's going on right now.
So what specifically brought you out here today?
So I'm an original occupier of Wall Street.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I was here on 9/17/2011 for 2.5 months. I came here with my daughter, my infant daughter, and our first day here, I'm sitting out here with these signs. George Carlin sign. I had I put $1 in the change machine, but nothing changed. And like all these great signs I made on her diaper boxes, and I'm like, this is great. And I'm sitting here right on these steps, and banksters were walking by, flicking lit cigarettes at me and my daughter, and the cops did nothing. And you knew exactly right then who they were working for, and then you're like, oh man, this is not Sesame Street anymore, and I hope truly everyone wakes up. We were here for 2.5 months. We had our own newspaper. It was great. It was a bunch of families, not what you saw on MSM or any revisionist history. If you want to know the real history of what occurred here, we just got infiltrated, unfortunately. A lot of agent provocateurs, these deep staters, but this is a humanity test. It's sadly been politicized, but this is our last chance to save humanity. Freedom and free will are at stake before they enslave us.
I love your message.
Thank you.
So last question, I'll let you go. So what do you think, or what would you say are the differences between this time and the first Occupy?
Well, this time I'm glad to see that it's the way. It's because it's never been a red versus blue thing. It's always been a plebs versus elite thing. So I'm glad to see young Republicans here. I'm neither young nor a Republican, but I am a New Yorker, and I'm esoteric, and I've always known that it was just a matter of time before everybody truly awoke to what was going on. And confusion is the weapon of the enemy, and the enemy is the worldwide government. This is a worldwide democide and a biosecurity paradigm. This is very real. This is the silent war. This is the fifth generational war. It's an informational class war.
Right. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and stay safe out here. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's one thing that I've learned about. Oh, what's that? Oh no, I'm sorry. If you want to say some more, yeah, we'll talk to you some more. Hold on. Let me get that. Do you know the answer?
Well.
Do you know the answer to 1984?
The answer to 1984 is when you think outside the box and you realize, and I've always been one of those types, it's always about balance. I'm a Libra, so it's truly my sign, and you have to remember it's equality and humanity first. And so just nobody needs to be a 50 millionaire. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't mind being a 50 millionaire.
Yeah, you don't need it. Just think about it, because it's just MMT. It's not real anyway. It's all.
What's MMT?
Monetary math theory. It's like they just move a decimal point. These guys, hedge funds, it's just decimal points. It's not, dude. It's not real. It's money is not what it is. And when the gold standard went away, that was it.
Right.
So that's when real money went away. Yeah. So if you're smart, you'll invest in things like silver and gold and commodities, precious metals. This is like Trading Places. Do you ever see Trading Places?
I haven't, no.
Okay, so like Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd, they
Oh yeah, okay.
So just think of what they did, right? So we're doing kind of what they did, but we're not trying to get rich. We're trying to just take care of everybody.
Right.
That's what it's all about. Just take care of everybody. Choose good versus evil.
That's what I believe. If you took away politics and everything, and everybody just golden ruled this thing.
Yes, we are the true superheroes. So think about it. The CIA has always done soft disclosure through movies and TV, and then they did reality TV, and they blurred it all together. They're like, oh, it's script, it's real, it's not. There's always been villains, and there's always been superheroes. So we are the superheroes. We are fighting the villains right now.
Well, thank you so much for talking
welcome.
to us again.
Any other
Not yet. I mean, do you want to put some more answers out?
Anything you have, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
All right, thank you. But yeah, that's one of my biggest points that I talk about on the podcast a lot is, it shouldn't be a partisan issue. Like, really, all of our issues shouldn't be partisan issues. If we just golden rule this thing and treat each other as, God Rico put it in an actually good way on one of the shows. He says he treats everyone like a god or a goddess, and then that's just a way that he's able to manifest good things to and from people just by treating people the way that they deserve to be treated as people. And I do agree that this is not a partisan issue here on Wall Street. The issue is that the system, the establishment, is totally corrupt. And that's what I think people here are trying to fight against. We're going to start moving around the crowd just a little bit more. Try to see if we can talk to a few more people. Let's head this way, Rob.
Let's see if we get that dude in Vish.
Oh yeah, where's Vish? Here, let's go over here. We'll just get ready to speak to him. Who, Vish? Hey, Vish. Hey, Vish, whenever you're done with that, man, can we get a couple questions?
Yeah, right out. You're next right after these guys.
All right, perfect. Thanks, man. So we're going to talk to a couple of organizers of the event here in just a second. He's doing a quick interview. Just going to show some of the sights and sounds.
There were some fundamentals that showed the stock they had a new CEO and all this other stuff. With the price where it was at the end of 2019, like under $5, that was a little too far. Maybe it could have been 10. I don't know. It is to be decided. So there were fundamentals to show that the stock should have been higher. But most of them bought this stock knowing it was crap because they were taking advantage of the short squeeze. Okay, that's fine. Let them do their thing. But the fact that they wanted to turn it off the second things got too in deep for them, then that is what it is. All right.
Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it.
Hey, man, you mind if I get it? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No, you were waiting here.
I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to say hi, Tammy. I'm Tamara Left.
Oh, hey, how are you? How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah,
good to see you.
This is Jackie Toguro.
Hi, nice.
She's running for city council.
Oh, beautiful. We'll talk.
Yes,
We'll talk.
yes.
When my feet are not freezing, we'll talk.
Hey, Gavin, my name
how's
is
it going?
Drew.
Gavin.
Nice to meet you, brother.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what's going on today.
Look, we have a lot of people here that are pissed off from both sides of the political aisle. What we saw the last few weeks was, as someone said earlier, one of the biggest transfers of wealth in American history. I think the hedge funds lost something like $70 billion. And it was a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. It was the little guy, the anonymous nobodies, the Joe Schmoes on the internet, the anonymous people, were able to take a sledgehammer to the establishment, the established wealth, the centralization of wealth, the institutional wealth, the hedge funds, and they did it beautifully, and they beat them at their own game. It's kind of like a David versus Goliath story. It really is. It has all the makings of a great script. And then what happened? Well, then all of a sudden some people got angry, some Leon Coopermans and those people of the world, the Steve Cohens, and they said, you know what, shut down the rabble, shut down these peasants. They can't make money, only we can make money. Only we're sophisticated, only we know what to do with this money. It's the most condescending nonsense. It's the most condescending nonsense, and they're the ones who are embarrassed. They got caught with their pants down. They got shown to be fools. They got beat at their own game, and now they're upset about it. So we're out here to protest against the hypocrisy, the corruption, the double standards, the lying, and the way that they really screwed the little guy out of legitimate gains. These guys made real money. They paid off their student loans. They paid their medical bills. They bought homes for their families. I mean, these guys are not big people. Some of these guys put a few $1,000s in. They're waiting tables and they bought stocks. So good for them. That's the American dream. If you're schlepping to go to some crappy 9-to-5 and then saving up just enough to buy GameStop, as ridiculous as it sounds, and you make money, keep your money. Now we have to shed crocodile tears for the big guys. It's nonsense.
And how do you think, I know it's not a quick fix, but how do you think this actually gets fixed?
I'm worried. I'm worried that they're going to change the rules so no one can really make money again to the extent that these guys did. I think they're going to try to close the market down. What they essentially want is they want anyone who has a Bloomberg terminal, which costs like 25 grand to be able to trade, and they don't want anyone else to be able to trade. The motto of this protest was let the people trade. Let the everyday guy trade, because some of those people know way more than these hedge funds. These hedge funds have massive egos. They're arrogant. They don't know what they're doing. And they lost. So I would hope that we would move to quote unquote democratize the markets more, to make the markets more fair, because there's a lot of impediments. There's a lot of barriers to entry that allow this concentration of wealth in a few funds. It's not really a free and fair system. It's very much a closed system. But I think the pessimist in me thinks they're, based on what I'm seeing coming out of DC, they're going to use this as a cause to regulate the markets more. And by regulate, they're not regulating it to help the little guy. They're regulating it to hurt the little guy and protect the established interests.
And last question, what is the main goal of the Reoccupy movement?
This issue will be memory hold if we let it. So we need to do things that draw attention, that draw publicity, that draw cameras, that draw reporters to come out here, because when they do, this doesn't go away. More people see what's going on, more people are going to get angry, more people are going to demand action, more people are not going to just let this slide by. What they want to happen is that they want this to just be forgotten. They want this to just move on. They want to talk about the next news cycle. They want to pretend none of this ever happened and just move on. We got to keep up the pressure. We're in New York. We're in the biggest media market. We happen to be on Wall Street, so it was very easy for us to come down here. I think we had 300 signups on Eventbrite. I don't think everyone came out, but a lot of people came out, and we were able to get our voices heard, and I'm sure this video and all these other videos are going to get spread, and more people are going to learn what's going on.
And real quick, just for posts so I can put your name and everything there, could you say your name and your role in the organization?
Yep, Gavin Wax, Gavin Wax, New York Young Republican Club president.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, man. It was great meeting you.
Yes.
So we're going to go over here and try to talk to Vish as well. It looks like it wound up being right on time.
Our jester, want to get away from the music?
Yeah, because of course YouTube will probably strike us down for this. So it sounds like people are going to start Dougieing soon.
After a while,
I think if we get over here, like right by this tree, we might be all right back here by this security guy, if you don't mind.
crowd in the back or anything?
Yeah, I think if we actually, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Vish knows what he's doing.
I used to be Steve Bannon's producer.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Vish, first, could you introduce yourself and what you do for the organization?
So, my name is Vish Burra, V-I-S-H, last name B-U-R-R-A. I'm the vice president of the New York Young Republican Club, and I'm one of the organizers here for the Reoccupy protest.
So what is your main objective with the Reoccupy protest?
Our objective is to show that a realignment is happening in this nation. Left and right doesn't matter. What happened with Wall Street and the day traders on Robinhood and Janet Yellen, this is the elites going to war with us, and we need to realize that our freedoms as Americans, our prosperity as Americans is under attack by this small group of people who expect us to follow one set of rules and they play by another set of rules. We cannot stand for that.
So, if you don't mind me asking, did you play any of the YOLO stocks?
Yeah, I played some AMC and Nokia. Yeah, didn't get in on GameStop, but I didn't realize what was happening. I was had my own business to deal with. But then once I saw what was happening, I caught up. I realized this is a disaster. This is literally a brazen attempt by the elites to take away your freedoms. And so we can't stand for that.
And how do you think something like that is alleviated?
Something like that is alleviated when people, everyday Americans left and right, unite against what is wrong. And what these people did are blatant crimes. So that's what we need to alleviate it. The way this problem gets solved is these people need to be prosecuted. They need to be made an example of, that we're not going to accept what's happening. So, hey, I have a phone call coming.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and take your phone call, bro. Just let me know whenever you're done. Might be the cops, so that's never good. Yeah, I got a light, bro. Yeah. Here you go. Mind if I ask you a couple questions while you're here?
Yeah, that was a good one.
There we go.
Yeah,
you know
let's do this first and then I'll...
Oh, we can smoke cigarettes, dude. I don't care. Let's just smoke cigarettes. I love smoking cigarettes, unfortunately. So
I'm running for office. I can't have nobody.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, bro. Introduce yourself to the camera for me, actually.
Sure. My name is John Alexander Sakelos, and I'm running for City Council in District 19 officially on Wednesday.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. So you got a big week.
I got a big week ahead of me. I got engaged last week, so
Congratulations,
I don't know
man.
which was a bigger week.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure she'd want to know that it's the engagement.
Yeah. Last week was a bigger week.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your reason for coming out today.
Well, this was hosted by the Young Republicans of Manhattan. I'm here representing the Young Republicans of Queens. This is not a Republican-Democrat issue. This is just an American issue. We need to have liberty of commerce in this country. That's how we ensure the real American dream, the real transfer of wealth from those who were too stupid to risk it to those who were smart enough to bet on it. So that's the reason we're out here and we're supporting these guys. This is not a Republican, Democrat, left-right issue. This is just about how the deck is stacked against everyday normal Americans who are trying to invest and make money for their families. And when we start playing by the same rules as the big guys, all of a sudden they want to change the rules.
Right. So as somebody that is running for Congress, what would
Not
you...
Congress. That's way above my pay grade. City Council.
City Council.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how do you see this getting fixed?
Well, we need to have an investigation into how Robinhood just stopped trading. The excuse that they gave was that it was because a lot of people bought on margin. So when you buy and sell on margin, you know the risks that you're taking, and presumably the people that are lending you the money, they know the risks that they're taking. So just to stop trading because, some people might lose some money, that's against the law. That's changing the rules mid-game. So we can't do that. We need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And as far as the future goes, I think we're going to see a lot more of a democratization of finance in this country, where you don't need to have a degree from Harvard or MIT to do well in business. You need to be smart, be on top of your game, and ultimately, a lot of finance guys are not going to like me saying this, but get lucky.
Yeah.
That's what that is,
Well, I mean, it's always seemed like a casino style, I mean...
Yeah, for the uber rich. Yeah, casino style for pinstripes.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you feel that once there is legislation written on this, that it is going to benefit more of the retail trader?
Well, yeah, I don't know if the solution to this is legislation. I don't know how we can legislate an issue like this, especially since it's already happened. They already changed the game. I think it's more about ensuring that the game is not changed, the rules are not changed mid-game ever again. And that's what we need to ensure. I think we're going to see a lot more of people playing fast and loose on the internet with trading stock information. I think that we're going to see a lot of hedge funds try to say that that's insider trading, but it's no different than the same insider trading they've been doing in, down in Wall Street down here for the past 50 years. So
which is actual
insider trading.
Yeah, exactly.
We go to prison. Martha Stewart gets to do a show from home.
Yeah. So I know you could obviously go on Twitter the day Robinhood shut down everything, and there was clear outrage. Was there anything here in person? Like were people feeling it here in the city?
I am living and running to represent Queens, so I didn't see anything in Queens going on. I'm sure here in the city you had a bunch of people throwing things against their apartment walls, realizing that they were millionaires and they couldn't do anything about it. But I didn't see any physical violence. I didn't see any even physical gathering up until this event today, which is why it was so important that we came out and did it.
Now, last question. There are a lot of analysts that are speculating on the fact that they could. A lot of these people that are trading the YOLO stocks and Redditors, that they could have just sold, got rich, they can still sell, get rich, and get out. Now, this kind of seems like they're of course fighting for a big investment. How do you think people should continue with this actual movement in the market?
Well, I'm going to preface this by saying this is not a recommendation to buy or sell stock. Please don't sue me.
That's a good disclaimer.
So whatever the disclaimer is, I'm not the guy. I don't have a degree in finance. But I think it shows that there are some things that are just more important than money. And that, these guys, maybe their spouses are yelling at them like, you got to sell. But I give them a lot of credit for holding the line and saying, you know what? I made the money, but there's something, I just want to stick it to these guys. And I think we're going to see a new definition of what we call a conscientious investor. It used to be a conscientious investor was somebody who invested in green stock or wind energy or something like that, conscientious. Now it's going to be anybody who could screw Wall Street. You're a conscientious investor.
Exactly. Hey, man, well, I appreciate the interview. Stay safe out here, man. Stay warm.
You guys. Yeah, you too.
Yes, sir. So we're going to stay around and see if see where Vish went. You know what I think we're going to do? Since I'm going to see if this guy continues to play copywritten music because then it'll just mute out the audio here and it won't be worth it. So we may just cut the live stream and go shoot straight HD. What time is it? And so we've been going for about an hour here. We may come on back live. This is the Reoccupy movement here in New York City at Zuccotti Park. My name is Drew. I want to give a quick shout out to Band.video. Make sure you go to Band.video, share the links, share the stuff that's going on because this is a big deal. And we want everybody to realize the blatant corruption, the blatant disregard for the people, and we want to see something happen behind this. So until next time, my name is Drew, and I'll see you guys soon.